This is a generational project. It takes a tremendous amount of planning and coordination to make it happen. We know just how important these projects are as we build our new Kentucky home. That's why I made this project a priority for my administration. And as someone who has roots right here in Western Kentucky, I couldn't be more excited about the opportunities this is going to open for this region. This is our chance to leave a special legacy. Our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids are going to have more shots of pursuing any dream they dream of in Kentucky than any generation before them. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. Today, we're going to start by talking about infrastructure. I know I talk a lot about Kentucky's bridges, but that's because they're one of Team Kentucky's most important investments, especially the bridges we rely on. They don't just connect our roads. They connect our families to jobs, schools, and their communities. And we need to make sure that every Kentucky bridge is safe and dependable. Through Team Kentucky's Local Bridge Improvement Program, we're doing just that. Funding through this program gives mayors and county judges another way to fix or repair vital bridges that otherwise wouldn't fit in the budget. These efforts deliver safer, faster connections for drivers, businesses, and emergency services. So far in 2025, we've issued 4 rounds of funding totaling $32.7 million, and today I'm excited to announce another $6 million in awards. This will fund 12 new projects in 9 counties and 1 city across Kentucky. This work is a big deal, especially for 2 counties that have bridges that are currently closed, that these dollars will help reopen. To share more about these projects, we've got videos from several local leaders. First up, a word from Judge Todd Cooper of Ballard County's Fiscal Court. We're awarding Ballard County $372,000 to replace the bridge on Morning Meadows Road that's currently limited to 3 tons and does not have a viable detour.
My name is Todd Cooper. I'm the Ballard County Judge Executive, and I just want to thank the state of Kentucky and especially KYTC for their hard work and their partnerships the last several years with our community, and not only our community, but statewide. You can see their work and the results of their work. And we want to thank the state legislature for taking this pot of money and carving it out and making it available for counties. So we want to thank the rural aide, Bobby Joe, Commissioner. She does a great job. She's great to work with, and we appreciate them very much in that small branch in the central office in Frankfort. They do amazing work. We also want to thank the governor and his partnership and his care for the people of Kentucky. He's proved over and over since he became governor, he really truly cares about the people of Kentucky. He wants what's best for the people, and he goes to work, I believe, every day looking for ways to help each community that asks for help, and even ones that don't ask. I mean, he's looking for ways to help the state. So we're very appreciative. And we want to thank KYTC again for this award. It is the season of Thanksgiving, so we are thankful and grateful.
My name's Travis Holder. I work for the fiscal court and the road department, and working to help get these bridges done in the county. And we're also super grateful to our legislatures for putting this program together, coming up with this pot of money to help counties across the Commonwealth and restoring their bridge infrastructure. It's a great program. We're super grateful for it, and we hope to see it for many years to come.
Next, Judge Perry Newcomb of the Crittenden County Fiscal Court is receiving $780,000 for a bridge replacement project on, and I will admit, as governor, I don't know how to pronounce every road across our Commonwealth. I believe this is Copperas, but we're going to find out, Springs Road, and $590,000 for a new bridge at Nunn Switch.
For Crittenden County, we have several bridges actually that are deficient or failing. And the bridge behind me happens to be one of which that I applied for 4 and graciously was awarded funding to replace 2 bridges. And that's as a direct result of our legislators providing the funds to support this program across our Commonwealth, to our governor's office for his leadership in ensuring the program is carried through as it was intended, and of course our rural and secondary roads commissioner, Commissioner Lewis, and her staff for receiving all the applications, for going through the applications and determining need. And this truly is a program built on need. It's to fund some of the worst infrastructure across our Commonwealth. One part of my message today would be to our state legislators as they enter into session for this next biennium budget to please consider continuing to fund this program. I think the program is yielding tremendous positive results. I know it's a cost, but there's a cost involved to everything, and the reward much outweighs the cost. So I just want to reiterate how thankful we are here in Crittenden County for the opportunity to replace some of these aging infrastructure systems and provide utmost safety for our citizens and those who travel our roadways. Thank you.
Thank you to the judge, and I guess we will never know if I pronounced it correctly. So finally, we have Judge Kenny Wilson of Hickman County, where they will get $570,000 for a new bridge on, and I can get this one, Spring Hill Road.
As you can see, it's a cold December morning, but we're very appreciative here in Hickman County today because we have been awarded a new bridge. It's going to go right here on Spring Hill Road. We're very thankful today to get a bridge from the County Bridge Improvement Program. We appreciate the help out of the governor's office, Governor Beshear, Alex Caudill. We're also thankful for the rural municipal aid, Commissioner Lewis, and also our Kentucky engineer for District 1, Kyle Pote. All played a role in helping us get to this place to where we're going to have a new bridge here on Spring Hill Road. This bridge, as you can see, has all pilings that are wood pilings, and they've deteriorated. And this is actually the third bridge that we will be getting in Hickman County in this new program. And it, besides helping our farmers, but where it really comes into play is helping our children get to school by being able to go over these bridges with a school bus. So that is a big plus for all of us. And like I said, we look forward to this bridge being completed in the spring, and this will be our third one. And I assure you, we're going to apply for some more, and hopefully we'll get some more of them. And like I said, thank you very much today.
Well, thank you to all three of the judges for submitting those videos. I think Judge Wilson, who does a great job at Hickman County, talking about how it'll now allow the school bus to drive over the bridge once replaced, is such a powerful example of why this program is so important. Including today's awards, we've now funded 87 bridge projects for a total of $38.7 million. So today we also have a great update on how we're going to help Kentuckians around the Covington, Northern Kentucky area. We've got a lot of positive work going on in Northern Kentucky. Economic development is booming, and we have two major projects going on through KYTC right now. The Brent Spence Bridge Corridor Project, which will help Kentuckians, travelers, and our nation's commerce, as well as the replacement of the KY8 Licking River Bridge. This work is going to help ensure safer travel, less congestion, and more modern infrastructures for years to come. This was a project, especially the Brent Spence Companion Bridge, that people said would never happen, yet we are making it happen between the states of Kentucky and Ohio, and certainly Covington, Northern Kentucky, teaming up with Cincinnati. But we also know that it can cause some difficulty. We know that folks in business can be impacted during the construction stage. So Team Kentucky is awarding $750,000 to the city of Covington. These dollars will help make sure Kentuckians stay informed on progress and updates. They'll ensure local businesses are still being promoted to ensure success, and they'll invest in neighborhood improvements needed to strengthen connectivity. With us today is Mayor Ron Washington of Covington. Mayor, would you join us to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to Governor Beshear and Secretary Gray for their continued partnership as the city prepares for construction to begin on the Brent Spence Bridge project and the 4th Street Kentucky KY8 bridge. The Commonwealth's commitment reflects something we all share. A belief that our communities deserve to grow and thrive even as major infrastructure projects take shape around them. Covington is at the center. Covington is at the center of not one, but two major construction projects. These investments will reshape our region for decades, but we also know they bring real challenges to our residents, neighborhoods, and especially to our small businesses. That's why this funding matters. It ensures Covington's families and business owners are not left behind as construction moves forward. Over the next 5 years, these dollars will support our Bridging the Gap initiative, helping us keep people informed, strengthening access to local shops and restaurants, and improving neighborhood connections during every phase of construction. Covington is proud to be proactive. We are committed to clear communication, minimizing disruptions, and doing everything we can to help our businesses continue to thrive. Today's investment gives us the tools to do exactly that. Covington is and will remain open for business. So, Governor, on behalf of my city, thank you. Thank you for investing in our neighborhoods, for supporting our small businesses, and ensuring our community remains strong throughout these transformative years. We look forward to working side by side with you. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you to Mayor Washington for his cooperation and advocacy on such an important project, two projects. In addition to this work, we're also partnering with the Transit Authority of Northern Kentucky to offer no-cost shuttle service to riders 7 days a week who currently rely on the KY8 Licking River Bridge while it's closed. Safer roads and bridges are an investment in our communities. And when we want people not just to be safe, but to feel safe, the work that needs to happen, that needs to be put in on our roads and bridges can be the difference between somebody coming home at night and otherwise not. Team Kentucky is proud to continue to work on more progress to make sure that every Kentuckian is safe on the roads and on bridges. Now, for an update on our Pre-K for All initiative. Since taking office, I've been committed to doing what's best for Kentuckians and our future. And that's why this administration has always put education first. Because education helps our children, our workforce, our businesses, and our families. It also helps break generational cycles of poverty so that people can live a better life. Every Kentucky child deserves access to a good education, and in many ways, that's where the American dream begins. Unfortunately, we have more work to do in Kentucky, especially when it comes to pre-K. Currently, a single mom making $17 an hour isn't eligible to send their child to public preschool. Why? Because under the current standards, that single mom making $17 an hour makes too much. A family of four earning $50,000 a year faces the impossible choice of paying around $10,000 a year to send one child to daycare. As we all know, dollars don't stretch that far today with rising costs across virtually everything due to tariffs and more. And because of that, far too many parents are having to leave the workforce to care for their kids. We need to do something about it, and we can with Pre-K for All. In June, I signed an executive order creating the Pre-K for All Advisory Committee. In October, they joined us here at a Team Kentucky update to share their report. To summarize their finding, Kentucky needs Pre-K for All. It'll expand access to child care and learning. It'll give parents and caregivers more options, and it will help them save more and make more money. It'll create jobs, and it'll boost our workforce. And if that wasn't enough, we also have the backing of numerous local leaders, businesses, teachers, and Kentucky families. Over 65,000 Kentuckians have reached out to their state legislators asking them to support Pre-K for All. 63 county judge executives, the majority of whom are Republicans, also sent a letter asking the General Assembly to expand Pre-K. And 34 mayors representing cities in every region of the Commonwealth, they did the same. Pre-K for All also received a full endorsement from the Kentucky Association of School Superintendents. And today, I'm proud to share that our business community is continuing to speak up and support. Just moments ago, more than 43 local and regional chambers of commerce and their presidents sent a letter to members of the Kentucky General Assembly requesting their support for Pre-K for All. The teams who sent this letter include Greater Louisville, Inc., Ballard County, Bracken County, Lincoln County, Bowling Green, Scott County, Floyd County, Manchester, and Clay County, and many more. Why? It's pretty simple. Pre-K for All is good for business. It's expected to grow Kentucky's workforce by up to 70,000 people and help our businesses, our families, and our economy thrive. But if you question, you don't have to take my word for it. Today we have two regional chamber presidents with us to discuss the need of the Pre-K for All initiative. First, we have Jason Sloan, the president and CEO of the Morehead-Rowan County Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Council. Jason has more than 20 years of experience in economic development and workforce development, and his wife of 24 years, we're only at 19, Brittany and I, his wife Allison is also a teacher. Jason, if you join us for a few words. Thank you. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Pre-K for All is essential economic infrastructure for Kentucky. And on behalf of the Morehead-Rowan County Chamber of Commerce, we urge you to view Pre-K for All not merely as a beneficial social program, but as an essential economic infrastructure vital to the Commonwealth. Our region, like many others, struggle with low labor participation rates, a crisis exacerbated by the severe lack of available affordable child care, a situation particularly dire in our rural communities where child care deserts are most common. Providing universal access to early childhood development opportunities for 4-year-olds immediately addresses this core workforce challenge. By stabilizing the cost and accessibility of care, we enable thousands of parents, predominantly women, to join or rejoin the workforce. Our state estimates show that increasing child care access could unlock the labor potential of up to 70,000 Kentuckians, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in new wages and state revenue. For our local businesses in Morehead and Rowan County particularly, this is the most direct pathway to expanding the talent pool and injecting immediate economic vitality into our market. However, the return on this investment extends far beyond immediate labor and market gains. By ensuring every 4-year-old has access to a quality early learning environment, we are directly investing in the quality and readiness of our future workforce. Data consistently reveals that children who are ready for kindergarten, equipped with foundational academic and social and emotional skills, are far more likely to graduate high school, pursue higher education and specialized training, and ultimately become a highly productive, work-ready citizen by age 18. This long-term educational trajectory is what truly sustains economic development. Every dollar invested in high-quality pre-K generates significant returns that cycle through our state economy, decreasing future costs associated with remedial education, unemployment and crime, and investing in pre-K is the smart, strategic business decision that secures not just the next fiscal quarter, but the next generation of prosperity for all Kentuckians, urban and rural communities alike. Governor, thank you.
Thank you to Jason, and thank you to Allison for all she does for Kentucky's kids. Next, we have my chamber's CEO, Tish Shea, President and CEO of Frankfort's Chamber of Commerce. Tish has over 25 years of business experience and also serves as the Secretary of the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce Executives. Tish, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You had the shortest drive.
I did. So I just want to say before I get started, I know how everyone feels about this. I ran a daycare for 15 years when my children were little because of this very reason. I couldn't afford childcare for 4 kids, so I started my own daycare and ran that for 15 years, so I get where people are coming from. Now, moving into the business community, I see a different side, but I also see where everybody's coming from. So I'm here on behalf of the business community, the employers who drive Kentucky economy and create opportunity in every corner of the Commonwealth. As president and CEO of the Frankfort Area Chamber of Commerce, I represent hundreds of businesses that are ready to grow. They have jobs waiting to be filled, but every day they face a workforce crisis. Too many Kentuckians, especially parents, are unable to return or remain in the workforce because of affordable, accessible early childhood education that simply doesn't exist. Universal pre-K for all Kentucky, 4-year-olds isn't just an education initiative, it's a workforce strategy, and it's an economic imperative. This is about jobs for our business community. We estimate that 40 to 70,000 Kentuckians could rejoin the labor force if pre-K were widely available. That's a game changer for small businesses, manufacturers, and companies considering Kentucky for their next major investment. If we want to compete with the other states for economic development, we have to offer what they all do, pre-K for all. It's not just about filling jobs, it's about family economics. Research shows that universal pre-K could increase parent earnings by nearly $9,000 a year, and families could save an additional $7,000 annually in child care costs. For many Kentuckians, that's the difference between barely getting by and building a better future. From a business perspective, this is one of the smartest investments we can make. Studies show a $10 return on every dollar invested in pre-K. That's a strong ROI by any standard, boosting future earnings, reducing strain on public systems, and improving health and criminal justice outcomes. But we also need to talk about implementation. Universal pre-K will require infrastructure, especially in rural areas and smaller communities. Many of our smaller chambers and local partners don't have the resources to build out the systems needed to support this initiative. If we want this to succeed statewide, we need to ensure that chambers have the tools, the funding, and capacity to help their communities get it off the ground. This isn't just a policy, it's a partnership, and the business community is ready to be a part of it. Finally, let's not forget the heart of this issue are our kids. Today, more than half of Kentucky's 4-year-olds arrive at kindergarten already behind. That's a gap we can't keep patching. It's one we have to close early. To sum it up, universal pre-K helps parents work, help businesses hire, help families thrive, help children succeed. It's a win across the board and a moment for bold leadership. On behalf of the Frankfort Area Chamber of Commerce and the business leaders across Kentucky, I strongly urge you to make this investment for our future. Thank you. Thank you, Governor Beshear, for what all you're doing.
Thank you to Tish. Folks, pre-K for all is smart policy, and it ain't political. 4-year-olds can't vote. They're not registered. They just need the help of every Democrat, Republican, independent, responsible adult to have the tools to live a good life, to not fall behind before they ever get started. You want to know what not being kindergarten ready can mean? In one classroom, a kindergarten teacher tells me she had 4 to 5 students that weren't potty trained. How is she going to run that classroom and teach those kids with that challenge? Others show up not knowing colors or basic things that the kids need to know by the time they hit kindergarten. We can't lose some of our Kentucky kids before they ever walk in the doors of one of our public schools. It's time for pre-K for all. It's the right thing to do. Let's get it over the finish line this session. All right, next I'm excited to share some news about the progress and investments happening in our state parks. Today I'm proud to announce that $2.6 million in renovations have been completed in 16 Kentucky state parks. These renovations support updated restrooms and showers at our campgrounds. Jennifer Rodriguez, one of our great parks members, is going to tell you more about it.
Hey Kentucky, we have some good news from our Kentucky state parks. Our parks have completed $2.6 million in bathhouse renovations at 16 Kentucky State Park campgrounds. Campers can now expect better accommodations and amenities. Those campgrounds include Barren River Lake, Big Bone Lick, Blue Licks Battlefield, Carter Caves, Cumberland Falls, Dale Hollow Lake, General Burnside, General Butler, Green River Lake, Greenbow Lake, Jenny Wiley, Kincaid Lake, Lake Barkley, Natural Bridge, Nolan Lake, and Yatesville Lake. These improvements build on the New Kentucky Home Initiative by contributing to Kentucky's $14.3 billion tourism industry, providing visitors with top-notch travel experiences and outdoor recreation. Team Kentucky has made it a priority to invest in our parks. That's why Governor Beshear has signed bills allocating more than $210 million for park improvements and upgrades. Stay tuned for more good news.
So that is an example of one of our new good news segments that's on our YouTube page. Please head there and subscribe. We've got a lot of great stories about good things going on in the Commonwealth that help everyone. Now, at a time when so much of especially the national news seems so negative, there are good things going on in Kentucky that we want you to know about. So subscribe to the YouTube channel and hear stories like Jennifer's, who says that parks are essential to our record-breaking tourism industry and our life here in Kentucky. To stay up to date on park improvements, events, and information, you can also visit parks.ky.gov. Next, we have some good news from the Delta Regional Authority. I'm proud to serve as the state's co-chair of the DRA. This organization has invested more than $20 million in Western Kentucky since I became governor. These funds helped us land the Pratt Paper Mill, a $500+ million investment in Henderson. They also helped fund vocational training and projects to improve our infrastructure. Today, we're announcing more than $1.6 million going to 4 projects in Western Kentucky. The West Kentucky Workforce Board is receiving $509,000 to offer apprenticeship opportunities, on-the-job training, and more. The Paducah-McCracken County Joint Sewer Agency is receiving $509,000 to improve water treatment services across the purchase area. The Hickman Electric System is receiving $168,000 to help expand high-speed internet access in the city of Hickman. And the Henderson Community College is receiving $430,000 to buy equipment for their electrical technology training program, simulating electrical systems so students can practice their trade. Today, we're joined by a great president from our KCTCS family, the president of Henderson Community College, Dr. Jason Warren. Dr. Warren, if you'd please talk about the project.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Governor, for your leadership and support of DRA and all those grant programs. They're critical for economic development and workforce development. And Governor, I do want to say how much we appreciate Alex Cottle with your office, with all the many ways that he has supported us. Want to thank our friends at Green River Area Development District, our grad office, Hunter Phillips in particular. He helped out with assisted with the grant application. The staff there are fantastic partners. Henderson is growing, and we are responding to that growth. Henderson Community College already offers high-quality general education university transfer programs and classes, but we continue to increase relevant offerings in the skilled trades to meet local demand. This grant funding will be transformational for us. It will allow us to create a state-of-the-art training lab of hands-on amateur trainers to support our new electrical technology program. The program launches in January under the leadership of Master Electrician Tony Mead. He's an educator and extensive experience in industry. We're enrolling students now. 3 areas of focus will be industrial electrician, construction electrician, motor controls electrician. We're going to offer an Associate of Applied Science in Electrical Technology and a diploma. We'll have certificates in automated industrial control, construction electrician, industrial automation and robotics technician, and industrial electrician. This program will also include work-based learning programs and opportunities for those students who are enrolled. 2 years ago, a DRA grant allowed us to double the capacity of our labs that support advanced manufacturing. And as a result, our enrollment in those programs has doubled. Today, we're serving 15 manufacturers through the HCC FAME Apprenticeship Model Program. This grant will be just as transformative. I'm excited about how our new electrical technology program will help better serve Henderson, Union, and Webster counties. It'll also complement that existing program in industrial maintenance as we add more multi-skilled technicians to the local workforce. I'm so appreciative of Henderson Economic Development, Missy Vanderpool and Whitney Risley, along with numerous business and community leaders that came to us, and they made the case to us that we needed more skilled electrical workers. I'm proud of how our team, our faculty and staff at Henderson Community College, we listened and we responded. And I'm also thankful for so many community partners that helped make this happen. Over 20 people representing numerous organizations wrote letters of support: T-Rex Electric, Galloway Electric, local superintendents, judge executives, leaders from across the service area. When we all work together, we can address workforce development in a way that moves our communities forward. And Governor, we invite you to Henderson Community College, our campus. You've been there before, and we're going to showcase this new electrical technology lab and show that off to you when it's all set up.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Dr. Warren. He does a phenomenal job. In fact, every time we have a major business looking at Henderson, we take them through the community college because you can really see a pipeline of how they're addressing the needs of specific companies. And companies can even see their pipeline a couple years out and know they're going to have that stable employment. Thank you to the Ad District. It's won a couple of awards. Pretty special place doing really good work. All right. Next, I want to talk about the abandoned well capping program. Now, we've talked about this program a decent amount. This went through in the last administration, and it helps us cap oil and gas wells that have been abandoned that are out there. Now, we have different wells called orphan wells, and we have capped a lot of those. But last week, Kentucky made history by plugging the first well in the nation through the methane emissions reduction program. Located in Elliott County, William Oliver 15, that's the name of the well, has been safely sealed at a depth of 1,100 feet, marking a significant step towards cleaner, healthier air for all Kentuckians. And our team didn't stop there. Since we became the first state to plug one of these methane wells under the methane emission reduction program, we plugged a second one. And that one is in Elliott County, and we have 5 other projects open for bid. By plugging these types of oil and gas wells, we prevent harmful methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas, from leaking into our atmosphere. That means cleaner air and healthier communities, especially for neighbors who live closest to these wells. Excited about how this initiative, federal funding into local communities, creates jobs, providing much-needed employment in areas that benefit from this type of investment. With the $12.9 million we've been allocated, we're addressing the risk posed by older, low-producing wells, eventually capping 150 of them. And on December 1st, we started accepting nominations from operators to plug additional wells. This achievement builds on the efforts I was talking about before on orphan wells, where we have plugged 69 orphan wells already in Kentucky and expect to plug 550 more. We also plugged 635 wells through a prior federal award in 2022 and 2023. These efforts are cleaning up sites that have been neglected for decades. Together, we're working to make progress for the safety of our people and our Commonwealth. All right, next up, we have an update from the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security on how they're working with local law enforcement to increase training resources and better protect our officers and our people. The Kentucky Office of Homeland Security recently awarded over $722,000 to the Louisville Metro Police Department to construct and upgrade 2 tactical training facilities at the LMPD Firearms Training Center on Algonquin Parkway. At the first location, the funding will support renovations and expansion of the facility with upgraded security and technology. Funding for the second location will support construction of a brand new tactical training building. These facilities allow officers to practice high-risk operations in a controlled environment. And these facilities are not just for LMPD, they're designed for regional use. Surrounding agencies can train there together with unified standards, communication, and coordinated responses. This project showcases our commitment to building a new, safe Kentucky home for everyone. All right. One of the things I'm most proud of as a Kentuckian is how we come together in moments of crisis. From neighbors helping neighbors, communities supporting other communities, to the way our local, state, and federal partners pull together, I think we do it better than anyone. And during a crisis, our Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet's emergency response team is one of our first on the ground. They're trained to respond immediately to environmental emergencies or when hazardous materials are involved. They protect our people and our communities, and they've been there at tornadoes, floods, train derailments, and more. During the tragic UPS plane crash in Louisville, our team was on the scene for 16 straight days, coordinating with multiple agencies and helping to oversee the environmental cleanup. And now, they're going to be even more equipped to help in times of need with the new FEMA Type 3 Mobile Emergency Operations Center, the newest and one of the largest tools in their toolkit. Replacing a 20-year-old mobile unit, this new state-of-the-art unit has radio frequency communications to coordinate with other agencies, cellular internet access, technology to allow real-time monitoring of equipment, and more. Team Kentucky directed nearly $300,000 to this vehicle because it's a crucial way we can better serve Kentuckians in a time of crisis. I got to see this vehicle for the first time this week, and what struck me is how proud the workers at the Energy and Environment Cabinet are at their ability to serve Kentuckians at possibly their most dire moment, and how excited they were to have these extra tools to be able to do even more, even faster. See, we believe in Kentucky that every emergency that we go through, at the end, we got to ask the questions, and all the questions. Why? Because we've got to learn at least one thing from each emergency response that helps us do a little bit better the next time. Somebody's life is depending on it. And because of this investment, because of these hardworking members of Team Kentucky, I know our Commonwealth will be better protected the next time the disaster strikes. All right, next up, we have Dr. Stack, who's going to share this month's goal for our Healthy Kentucky Home Initiative.
Good afternoon, Team Kentucky, and thank you, Governor Beshear. So I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, but after our indulgences last week, it's probably a good time to remind ourselves that in this second year of the Our Healthy Kentucky Home campaign, we're going to continue our mission to promote simple, attainable lifestyle changes and goals that help everyone achieve better health and wellness by eating at least 2 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, exercising at least 30 minutes 3 times per week, and remaining socially engaged to stay socially connected. Here in Kentucky, we take pride in caring for each other and believe folks shouldn't have to struggle to find help when they need assistance with health care, food, housing, employment, and other essential needs. For generations, Kentucky has offered programs and resources to meet the needs of these people. One of these is Connect. In 2025, more than 125,000 Kentuckians found health insurance for themselves or their families through Connect. Now, if you'd like assistance with exploring your health insurance options, Connect also helps link Kentuckians to connectors. These are trained professionals who provide free and unbiased guidance to help you enroll in health coverage and benefits, such as Medicaid, Kentucky Children's Health Insurance Plan, qualified health plans, and nutrition or child care assistance programs. Licensed insurance agents can also assist at no cost to you in choosing a good plan for you. Whether you're looking for an individual plan, family coverage, or help paying your premiums, now is the time to act and let Connect help link you to trusted options. By visiting the Connect website at connect.ky.gov during the open enrollment, you can find a plan that fits your needs. Open enrollment through Connect is happening now through January 15th, 2026. Just as an aside, last year 90,000 people got insurance during the open enrollment period. We're just over 80,000 as of a few days ago. So we've got just under 6 weeks to close that gap and try to make sure that even more Kentuckians this year get coverage through the open enrollment period than last week. But don't wait. To ensure your coverage is effective on January 1st, you need to enroll by December 15th, which is just a week and a half away. So you can get help with a connector by either calling 855-4CONNECT or going to connect.ky.gov. And then Connect offers more than just quality health insurance. It connects Kentuckians to real and practical support. Through the Connect Community Resource website, you can search and apply for many different types of Kentucky assistance programs. Just a sampling of these include the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, which helps with monthly food costs, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, which helps provide heating, cooling, and energy bill support, and also the Child Care Assistance Program, which is a program that helps support families with child care costs. And there's many, many more options there. Community organizations can also add or update their listings to help more Kentuckians find their services. Whether you need coverage, support, or local resources, Connect can help. So please visit connect.ky.gov/benefits. You can also go to the Our Healthy Kentucky Home website and find a link there. So to learn more about Connect or more about the Our Healthy Kentucky Home initiative, please visit our website at the ourhealthykYhome.ky.gov location and join us on this journey as we work together to ensure every Kentuckian reaches their full human potential and all of our communities thrive. And as this is early December, maybe the last time I talk with you, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, blessed with good health, surrounded by family and friends, and yes, spreading kindness, compassion, and good cheer throughout our Commonwealth. So thank you very much and happy holidays.
I know Dr. Stack is busy, but we had him near the end because I wanted to make sure he was here to hear this week's Team Kentucky All-Star. Last Friday, Kentucky lost a real-life hero with the passing of Dr. Kelly McCants. Kelly was a doctor at Norton in Louisville, leading the Heart and Vascular Institute. He also served as the executive director of the Institute for Health Equity. Through his work, he increased access to health care, delivered life-saving services, and was the advocate that his patients deserved. Kelly was a friend. He dedicated his entire career to helping his fellow human being, and during the pandemic, he was so critical at reaching out to communities, assuring them that that vaccine was safe, and demanding that everyone have that equal access so that they could be safe in a really scary time. He stood by his patients during their biggest challenges, and he stood up for all Kentucky, again during that pandemic, rolling up his sleeve and making sure that life-saving vaccine was distributed to everyone. If you look across social media or in stories of his passing, you'll see a comment after comment about how Dr. McCants made a difference. Many credit him with saving their life or the life of a loved one. And many also said he gave them the hope they needed to get through it. Dr. Kelly McCants was an all-star for so many. This week we're honoring him, his impact, and the impact of his life. We're thinking about his family during this tough time. It's a tough loss for Louisville, a tough loss for Kentucky, somebody I spent a lot of days with. And we were so much better off every day that he was here on earth with us. All right, with that, we will open it up. We have one journalist here in studio, which we appreciate, and we got a whole bunch on the phone. So we'll start with Carolina.
Governor, a new polling shows that the majority of people who get their health care coverage through ACA marketplaces will not be able to afford those increases. You've expressed concern about this before. As the United States Senate is set to take this issue up, the bill about the extended subsidies, what's your message to Washington?
Well, that the U.S. Senate and House needs to extend the tax credits that help people afford health care on the ACA. I mean, the idea that this Congress would vote to extend tax cuts for the wealthy, but not tax credits for hardworking Americans so that they could see a doctor, that's just wrong. Health care is a basic human right, and if they need another reason, this will just further hit rural economies that are already about to suffer. If you take first the big ugly bill, removing $1 trillion from Medicaid, resulting possibly in 35 rural hospitals closing just in Kentucky and 20,000 Kentuckians losing their jobs in healthcare, this is even more revenue that those hospitals would lose. Why? Because it's got higher reimbursement. It is private insurance, and so if people don't secure it, if they can't afford private insurance, that's even fewer dollars to keep that rural or urban hospital open. So number one, our people are going to be less healthy. Two, they're going to be less productive in our workforce. And three, our economy is going to take a big hit. Those are three easy reasons to extend those tax credits, and the people of Kentucky need and deserve them. No one has ever polled how many Democrats or Republicans get their health care under the ACA. Why? Because we don't care. We think that everyone deserves affordable health care. And I hope that people won't play partisan games and will extend those tax credits. All right, next, Aaron Mudd with the Herald Leader.
Thank you, Governor. Can you give us an update on the status of Kentucky's medical marijuana program and when dispensaries will open and sales will begin?
So I believe within the next couple of weeks that our first dispensary will have product on its shelf. That is the Ohio County dispensary that we think will be the first, but we believe it's going to scale up very quickly from that first moment. So right now, if you look at electronic practitioner certifications, 23,757 Kentuckians have e-certifications through the portal to be able to access medical marijuana. If you look at them by condition, 1,756 is cancer, chronic nausea, 930, chronic pain, 15,412. These are people that might have otherwise been taking opioids, which is one of the reasons that we've pushed this program so hard. 1,453 with multiple sclerosis, 7,631 with post-traumatic stress disorder. Remember the veteran over a year ago, 2 years ago, who talked about how medical marijuana got him off so many different medications and got him towards a better life. 749 for seizure disorders. We look at business licensing, 80 total businesses licensed, 16 cultivators, 10 processors, 48 dispensaries, 6 safety compliance facilities. We look at practitioners, 506 now. So our latest update is on Monday. Our Office of Medical Cannabis had staff in 3 different locations completing facility inspections. So what that means is within 1 year of awarding cultivation licenses, we now have multiple cultivators with harvested product that are in the testing phase. That's Going Blue LLC, a Kentucky-owned Tier 1 cultivator in Jessamine County. They've also submitted harvested materials to aquatic laboratories for safety and quality testing. So we are very, very close. Next, we've got Christian Hauser from WKRC. Okay, next we have Tom Latek from Kentucky Today. Hey, Tom.
Hey, good afternoon, Governor. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. That counts as your question.
All right. Please, no. I assume that the pre-K for all is going to require legislative action. Can you describe some of your conversations that you've had with leaders from the General Assembly to get this put on the agenda for the 26th session?
We've now met, both myself and the Pre-K for All work group that we have, with numerous legislators, and have support from both Democrats and Republicans alike. Now, that group that is strongly for it, I think, is going to work with leadership. Some who've expressed different opinions on the issue. What's most important is we take the politics out of this, because 4-year-olds aren't registered, they can't vote, they just deserve the very best from us. But this has the most bipartisan support I've ever seen. But today you also see that it's the business community's #1 ask in this session. It's what they say. They need to have the workforce to compete. And for really the first time, we're now seeing other states use this against us when we're competing for economic development projects. West Virginia will say, we've got better workforce programs because we have pre-K and they don't. Georgia has pre-K for all. So this is another step that we've got to take. And at a time when families are really struggling, this is a way that we can completely afford using sports gaming revenue, that it doesn't hit the rest of our budget at all, and we can help more people. And this won't be necessarily anything new. Pre-K has been at least expanded under multiple governors in the past, both Republican and Democrat. And what we're asking is, let's continue that trend, that different legislatures with chambers that had majorities of different parties all got behind. Okay, next we got Liam from the Kentucky Lantern.
Hi, Governor. I wanted to ask about just a question about related to foreign policy. Recently President Trump has his administration have paused immigration applications from a number of countries. Have moved to remove temporary protected status from another number of countries, including specifically the country of Somalia, which the president has made comments this week that have been labeled by some Republicans and many Democrats as either offensive, xenophobic, dangerous. On Wednesday he accused Somali immigrants of destroying the country. I was wondering, what do you make of President Trump's rhetoric this week, and also do you support or disapprove of his moves regarding suspending immigration applications and removing temporary protected status to a number of countries?
Yeah, President Trump's comments this week were hateful, were offensive, and were certainly not presidential. The idea that you would call different countries, bleep hole countries, come on. Be a decent human being. Try to set an example for kids that are out there. How about not cursing on national TV, meaning that kids suddenly can't watch their government function? And the idea that a president would do this is, it's unfortunate, but we shouldn't be surprised. This is a guy that went to the United Nations and was so mad an elevator wouldn't work. He told European countries that their countries were going to hell to their face. These are our allies, yet this president is willing to say the nastiest, most hurtful, most hateful things out loud, seemingly to believe there's no repercussions. It hurts America's standing, not just with the countries that he's offending, but with the world. And look back on comments that he made on Canada, how he attacked their sovereignty. And now you see tourism down in Las Vegas, you see bourbon taking a hit in Kentucky. How a president acts has repercussions on foreign policy and on our domestic economy, which he's already hurting enough with tariffs and the big ugly bill. As to his recent pause, I think we've got to point out that at least some of the most recent actions came after we had 2 National Guard shot, 1 killed in Washington, D.C. First, we are thinking about both of their families. The young woman who died was just 20 years old, and she deserved much, much more time on this earth. We need to make sure that the vetting that we are doing is effective. I don't have a problem with anybody looking at what that vetting is, but it ought to be a short window. And we should not pull back from programs where we promised people that we would provide them protection if they would help protect us. There were a lot of Afghans that protected our troops, that helped our troops when we were in that country for a long period of time, and they were made promises. We need to be a country that keeps our promises. We also need to understand that there are times where we need to take refugees, where they are fleeing from murder, from death, from attacks and assaults. We've got to make sure that we are, yes, a country that does this safely, that protects our people, that protects and has real borders, but one that also shows the world a level of compassion that allows us to be the type of leader that the world needs. Josh James, WUKY.
Good afternoon there, Governor. There is obviously still an appetite among Republicans to continue lowering the income tax, and some different signals there on whether they might try to change the triggers or decrease by smaller percentages. Do you see any room for further reductions in our current economic situation? And if I could tack a second question on there, could you clarify whether Kentucky intends to give the USDA the names and immigration status of people receiving food benefits, and should Kentuckians prepare for another possible loss of SNAP benefits?
Yeah, Kentuckians aren't going to lose SNAP benefits. It would violate a court order that's out there. Let me just say this is a little bit bizarre because we've already litigated this and won. So it was last May, the Trump administration sent out what we believed was an unlawful order that we were going to have to turn over all of the private personal information of all our Kentuckians that are on SNAP. Information that the federal government isn't entitled to under law. And just think about how hard we all protect our personal information. It used to be that Republicans didn't think that the federal government ought to have all of your personal information at any time for any reason. And Josh, the stated reason was not to detect fraud. It was about immigration and wanting to use the information for immigration purposes. So we went to court, and since September, I believe, we have had an injunction where the court said, no, that's unlawful. The law doesn't allow you to require states to turn over that information. They didn't, I don't think they're currently appealing that, so it's in place. But last week we get a letter, and it doesn't threaten our SNAP benefits. It says, well, we now have these extra security protocols. So will you turn over that information? And if not, tell us why by this date. So we, as a group of states, were working on responding to that when in the televised cabinet meeting, which is something, Brooke Rollins comes out and says, oh, we're going to cut them off if they don't send us the information by that date. You know, I guess everybody tries to puff up and look strong during a cabinet meeting, but they hadn't even threatened that at that point in time, and that would violate a court order. So I'm sorry that the theater of the Trump administration and everybody somehow wanting to make threats to take food off of people's tables is so popular for this Trump administration. But that is not what the letter to us said. We're willing to go back to court. We've won this before, and we'll win it again. But this is one more example of how the Trump administration is willing to let people starve for political purposes. It's just wrong. They ought to knock it off. And then the other question, before I answered the second one a lot longer, remind me of that, Josh.
Oh, I can't unmute myself.
There you go. You're on.
Am I on?
Yeah.
It was about Republicans continuing. Republicans continue to want to lower the income tax, and different signals on that. But do you see any further room for reductions right now?
We're going to figure out if our Republican state legislators are people of their word or not. Because when they passed a law on decreasing the income tax, they said we're going to set guardrails, and we will only decrease it if it meets those guardrails. And because we had a healthy economy at the time, a number of Democrats voted for it because they were promised those guardrails and that Republicans would not otherwise try to lower it if they weren't met because of the damage it could do to our economy. The Democrats that voted for it wanted those safeguards to make sure we didn't have what happened in Kansas, where Governor Brownback, their former governor, cratered their economy. They didn't have money to improve roads. They didn't have money for economic development. And their school system was so underfunded, the Supreme Court called it unconstitutional and forced the legislature to raise taxes. If the state legislators try to come in and now change the rules from the rules they promised would be the rules, we're going to know if they're willing to keep their word or not. Now, what we're going to see in this next budget is that revenue is flat or just up a little bit, but the costs are up a lot more than that. That would further exacerbate that situation. And I think what we need here is what we need in just about everything in life, and that's balance. We need balanced sources of revenue because we have programs that are so important. I mean, if we have to make massive cuts, what happens to different programs? We just saw a number of Republican state senators get really upset when it took us a while to find an extra, $10 million for senior meals over and above what was budgeted in a budget where we had more revenue. So I hope they'll be thinking about food assistance, about the extra challenges that people will face and how important some of our programs are in this next session. Alexandra Goldberg.
Thank you, Governor. We're 1 month out from the UPS plane crash. Are you satisfied with the response from UPS and how the company is handling the victims?
Yeah, I think that remains to be seen. UPS was there early. They've created a large fund. What we've got to see is ultimately what are the final steps that are taken to try to make families as whole as they can be, especially if they've lost loved ones. And so I think people should watch, and there should be high expectations for a company that has been in the past really good to Kentucky and Kentuckians, that employs a ton of people, that has a ton of commerce coming through. But this is their plane, and they need to take responsibility and do everything they can to make it right. I am seeing a lot of positive steps. I know some lawsuits have been filed, but I'm a lawyer. That's part of the way this process ends up working. What's important at the end of the day is that they do everything they can to try to make those families as whole as they can be. Alexis Matthews.
Thank you, Governor. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but as far as the USDA's request regarding SNAP, you might have put some of these organizations at ease with your answer, but can you speak to the concerns that food pantries and food organizations in Kentucky may have in wake of the request, knowing the demand they face daily, and that was just exacerbated during the government shutdown?
Well, a big thank you to all of our food banks and food pantries, to Feeding Kentucky, who's done an amazing job in times of great difficulty and stress. I hope Kentuckians know that I am 100% on their side in the belief that no one should starve. The fishes and the loaves is one of the only miracles that is in every book of the gospel, meaning that it's absolutely critical that we ensure that everyone has enough. During the shutdown, when the Trump administration became the very first presidential administration to refuse to fund SNAP, that would use starving Kentuckians and Americans as leverage, I went to court. We won, and we got partial benefits on our people's cards before any other state. But what I also did was declare a state of emergency and move $5 million to those same food banks, who I believe in, to help people during that period of time. Now we've come out of the shutdown. Our people worked through the night a second time to get people full benefits. I will go back to court if I have to ensure that these benefits continue. The Trump administration has a ruling saying they cannot cut off benefits because states don't provide personal information that the federal government is not entitled to. My job is to protect Kentuckians, to make sure they have enough to eat, but that their personal information is protected the way we promised them they'd be. Thank you again to all of our food banks for your great work. Thanks to the National Guard for the extra help they provided. And finally, Isaiah Kim Martinez, closing us out from WHAS.
Your story at 4 o'clock is letter
Governor, just a question about data centers here. I know it's kind of been a big topic. We've seen more proposals, and then there have been, of course, conversations about whether people's rates will go up. What's your stance on the sort of boom of data center proposals and potentially people paying more to support them?
Yeah, so data centers and AI are going to be a part of our American future. We can't deny that. We need to make sure that we have appropriate regulations in place so that it is produced and used responsibly. When it comes to data centers, these can be advantageous for a community, or they can be disadvantageous for the community. I'm only willing to agree to a data center to the extent it needs my sign off if it is an overall benefit and it's wanted by the community that it's trying to go to. Really, there are a couple things that I think about. First, they cannot move the costs of electricity to our families in the surrounding communities. If it will raise people's rates to get the data center here, I don't support that specific data center. But let me tell you, there are multiple groups out there that are willing to produce their own power, pay for their own power, and ensure that people's rates aren't going up. Second, they need to pay a reasonable share of taxes. And that's because the data centers don't come with a lot of jobs, but they come at a huge value that could add a significant revenue to our school systems and to our counties. That means a school system that might be struggling could afford the very best technology, could potentially afford raises for its educators. It's a chance to potentially have large-scale investment in our kids, improve our test scores. There's that positive benefit there, depending on what deal the company is trying to get or not get to reduce those taxes. And the third is they've got to go to the right places. A community has to be fully informed, and a community ultimately, on the whole, needs to want these data centers. I believe that that's the type of balanced, reasonable approach that will help Kentucky be a part of this future economy, but ensure that each one that we agree to, we receive the benefits out of, and that overall we know our people are better off because of them. All right, that is this week's Team Kentucky update. We are back next week, where I believe we will be able to announce the steps in our budget reduction, probably sign that order. We believe that'll be ready by next week, which ought to give people a glimpse of what's potentially to come in our recommended budget in this next session. Looks like the State of the Commonwealth is going to be January the 7th. We'll have a couple updates before then, but hope everybody will tune in to see that. We'll have a time forthcoming. Thank you.
Guess what I'm wearing? Is it the new Bringus t-shirt made from 100% high quality cotton blanks? Technically yes, but what I was